My wife was living a double life. The first sign that something was wrong was not a suspicious message, a secret phone call, or a stranger's perfume on my wife's clothes. It was a coffee cup. One Tuesday morning, I found a paper cup in the passenger side door of her car. Written across it in black marker was the name Sophie. My wife's name was Emily. At first, I laughed. Coffee shops made mistakes all the time. Maybe the barista had written the wrong name. Maybe Emily had picked up someone else's order. But when I asked her about it, she froze. It lasted for less than a second, but I saw it. Then she smiled and said, "They must have mixed up the cups." I believed her because I loved her. Emily and I had been married for 7 years. We lived in a quiet neighborhood outside the city, in a house with blue shutters and a small garden she had planted herself. She worked as a freelance marketing consultant, which meant her schedule changed constantly. Some weeks she worked from home. Other weeks she traveled to meet clients. I never questioned it. I was proud of her independence. I trusted her completely. Looking back, that trust made it easy for her to hide everything. A few weeks after the coffee cup incident, Emily told me she had to spend 3 nights in another city for a conference. She packed quickly, kissed me goodbye, and promised to call when she arrived. That evening, I ordered dinner and sat down to watch a movie. Around 9 o'clock, I realized Emily had left her tablet on the kitchen counter. Normally, I would never go through her things. I was not the suspicious type. But the screen lit up. A message appeared. "Sophie, are you still coming to Daniel's birthday tomorrow?" I stared at the notification. Sophie. The same name from the coffee cup. My stomach tightened. I unlocked the tablet using the code Emily had once given me. The message came from a woman named Rachel. I opened the conversation, expecting an innocent explanation. Instead, I found months of messages addressed to Sophie. Rachel asked about work, weekend plans, dinner reservations, and someone named Daniel. There were photos too. In one picture, Emily stood beside a young boy wearing a birthday hat. She was smiling at him with an affection I had never seen before. Underneath the image, Rachel had written, "Daniel is lucky to have you in his life." My hands began to shake. Who was Daniel? And why did everyone call my wife Sophie? I searched through the tablet. There were no obvious answers, but I found an email account I had never seen before. The address included the name Sophie Bennett. My wife had another identity. There were hotel confirmations, apartment bills, school newsletters, and emails from people who clearly knew her as Sophie. One message was from a teacher. "Daniel has been doing much better since you started attending the parent meetings regularly." Parent meetings. I felt as though the floor had disappeared beneath me. Did Emily have a child? I spent the entire night reading everything I could find. The truth slowly formed in front of me, piece by piece. For years, Emily had been renting an apartment in a town 2 hours away. She had friendships there, memberships, appointments, and an entirely different social circle. In that town, she was not Emily Carter, my wife. She was Sophie Bennett. And Daniel appeared to be part of that life. I did not sleep. By morning, I had convinced myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe Daniel was a relative. Maybe Sophie was a professional name. Maybe I was misunderstanding everything. Then I opened a folder of photographs. The first picture showed Emily standing outside a school with Daniel. The second showed them decorating a Christmas tree inside the apartment. The third showed Daniel holding a handmade sign that said, "Best mom ever." I dropped the tablet. My wife was a mother. And I had never known. For 7 years, I had dreamed of having children with Emily. Whenever I brought it up, she said she was not ready. Sometimes she said work was too demanding. Other times she said she feared she would not be a good mother. But she was already raising a child somewhere else. I called her. She answered after several rings. Hey, I'm just about to go into a meeting, she said. Who is Sophie? Silence. I heard her breathing change. What are you talking about? She asked. I found the messages. I found the apartment. I found Daniel. The line went completely quiet. Then she whispered, I can explain. Come home. I can't right now. Come home, Emily. She arrived 4 hours later. When she walked through the door, she looked pale. She did not ask how much I knew. She simply sat across from me at the kitchen table. The tablet lay between us. Is Daniel your son? I asked. Tears filled her eyes. Yes. That one word destroyed the life I thought we had. Emily told me Daniel was 9 years old. The math hit me immediately. He had been born 2 years before our wedding. She said Daniel's father had been her boyfriend when she was younger. Their relationship had been unstable and sometimes frightening. When Emily became pregnant, she panicked. She left the city, changed her name, and stayed with relatives during the pregnancy. After Daniel was born, she struggled emotionally and financially. For several years, Daniel lived mostly with Emily's aunt while Emily worked and tried to rebuild her life. Then she met me. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. I was afraid. Afraid of what? That you would leave. I stood up so quickly that the chair scraped across the floor. You let me marry you without knowing you had a child. I wanted to tell you. But you didn't. At first, I thought I would tell you when our relationship became serious. Then we got engaged, and every day I waited made it harder. So you created another life? She covered her face. She explained that Sophie Bennett was not completely fake. Sophie was the name she had used while living with her aunt. When Daniel grew older, she began spending more time with him. She rented the apartment so she could visit without bringing him into the life she had built with me. What does Daniel think? I asked. He thinks I travel for work. Does he know you are married? She looked down. No. The answer hurt even more than I expected. She had hidden me from him just as she had hidden him from me. I asked whether Daniel's father was involved. Emily hesitated. That hesitation told me there was more. He came back into our lives 3 years ago, she said. His name was Marcus. He had started seeing Daniel occasionally, and Emily had been communicating with him. Some of the trips she described as business meetings were actually visits involving Marcus and Daniel. Were you sleeping with him? I asked. No. Tell me the truth. I am telling you the truth. I wanted to believe her, but belief no longer came easily. I asked to see their messages. She refused at first. That refusal was another crack in our marriage. Eventually, she handed me her phone. Most of the messages were about Daniel. School, medical appointments, birthdays, and schedules. Then I found one from Marcus. Sometimes I wish we could have been a real family. Emily had replied. Sometimes I wonder about that too. I read the words again and again. She began crying. It was a moment of weakness, she said. I did not mean I wanted him back. But you imagined a life with him. I imagined what Daniel's life could have been. And where was I in that imagination? She had no answer. The following days were unbearable. Emily stayed with her sister while I tried to understand what had happened. Every room in our house contained memories that now felt contaminated. Our wedding photographs, vacations, anniversaries, quiet Sunday mornings, everything had existed beside a secret life I knew nothing about. I kept asking myself whether any part of our marriage had been real. A week later, Emily asked me to meet Daniel. At first, I refused. Then I realized Daniel was innocent. He had not created the lies. He was simply a child who had been hidden. We met at a small park near the apartment. Daniel was shy, with dark hair and serious eyes. He stayed close to Emily. "This is my friend, David," she told him. I looked at her. Even now, she could not tell him the truth. Daniel showed me a model airplane he had built. He spoke politely and smiled when I complimented it. As I watched him, I felt anger toward Emily but compassion for him. He deserved stability. He deserved honesty. He deserved a mother who did not have to disappear into another identity to love him. Afterward, I told Emily I would not continue participating in the lie. "You have to tell him who I am," I said. She wiped her eyes. "I will. And Marcus needs to know about me too." "He does." I stared at her. Another lie revealed. Marcus had known Emily was married. He simply did not know that I was unaware of Daniel. That meant both of them had allowed me to live inside a false reality. I filed for separation the following month. Emily begged me to reconsider. She started therapy and finally told Daniel the truth about our marriage. She also stopped using the name Sophie. For months, we attended counseling together. I wanted to know whether trust could be rebuilt. But trust is strange. It does not always disappear in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it dies slowly, every time you remember a lie that once sounded convincing. During counseling, Emily admitted something important. She said she had not created the double life only because she feared losing me. She had also created it because she feared becoming one complete person. As Emily, she was my wife, successful, organized, and independent. As Sophie, she was Daniel's mother, vulnerable, guilty, and connected to a painful past. She believed the two identities could never exist together. So she divided herself. The problem was that everyone who loved her received only half of the truth. After nearly a year, I made my decision. I could forgive Emily for being afraid. I could forgive her for making mistakes when she was young. But I could not remain married to someone who had repeatedly chosen deception over honesty. Our divorce was finalized quietly. I sold the house with the blue shutters because I could not bear to live there alone. Emily moved permanently to the town where Daniel lived. From what I heard, she became more involved in his life and continued therapy. We exchanged a few messages over the years. She apologized many times. I eventually told her I forgave her. Forgiveness did not mean reconciliation. It meant I no longer wanted her secret life to control mine. I learned something from losing my marriage. Love can survive financial problems, distance, family conflict, and even terrible mistakes.